What is up, guys, and welcome to East County Garage. The motor on my Mazda 3 is cooked, which means today is the start of a new project. Let's get started. So, as I mentioned a little bit in the last video, the Mazda 3, the motor's done. This is the 2006 Mazda 3S, which means it has the 2.3 liter motor. There's kind of a lot of things people go around saying about the motors, but it seems like the 2.0 is really reliable and the 2.3 is mostly reliable except when it's not, and when it's not, it blows up. So yes, my Mazda 3 has rod knock. Now, my Mazda 3 has always made a lot of weird noises. There's always been a little bit of ticking going on. It kind of has like a weird whistle. It almost sounds boosted. But the rod knock was definitely a very distinct sound. Happened all at once. I was actually at the mall with my friend visiting out of town. Started the car up, really bad rod knock. Turned it off, called a tow truck. We had it towed to my house, looked at it here, couldn't figure out what was the problem. We were maybe hoping it was the intake manifold. On these cars, the intake manifold also has a lot of issues and will actually sound like something really bad's going on in the motor, and it's just the intake manifold runner valve. That was not the case, unfortunately. We brought it down to the shop, and they confirmed that it is something, maybe in the bottom end of the motor down there. They can really tell me without taking it all apart, and at that point, it was already going to be so much money that it wasn't worth it to me. So that brings me to my next point. We are going to be 2.5 swapping this car. Yep. Oh, dude, it sounds good. It does. Oh, dude, yeah, dude, right now we're just appreciating like the last time this motor is gonna be running. We drove it around my neighbor's driveway, so it is dead, as you can hear. It smells broken, yeah.
It smells like really bad gunpowder or something.
Yeah, it does, dude. Like 99-cent fireworks or something.
Yeah, some stupid shit.
Alright, so dead. Now, if you aren't familiar with this platform, this is kind of one of those things everyone says they're gonna do. Most of them don't really do it. There's actually not a whole lot of documentation online, but what's there is good, and it's relatively simple. Now, I know no motor swap is gonna be easy. Simple, yes. Easy, definitely not. There's definitely still a lot that has to go into it. Pretty much the way this motor swap works is you pull out the 2.3, you get a 2.5, and you swap over all the accessories. Pretty much the only thing you're going to be left with that's from that 2.5 is the long block. Now, the 2.5 is actually a Ford motor. I'm going to be sourcing it from somewhere around a 2011 Ford Fusion. Ford and Mazda actually had a shared motor. The 2.3 that Mazda has here is in a bunch of Ford cars, vice versa. So I'm actually not swapping it with like a newer Mazda 3 Skyactiv motor, but a Ford 2.5 motor, and that's just because it's very direct. One thing that's nice about this swap is that the motor gets to keep the same footprint and everything like that. Everything is the same size, it's just been bored out and stroked to be 2.5 versus 2.3, and along with that, there's also been a lot of reliability fixes, and they don't have the same reputation as blowing up at 150,000 miles. So, as you saw, I did a little bit of the Evan Shanks project car list, got some Scotch blue tape and wrote it all out. I figure while I'm at it, there's going to be a lot of other things I want to do to the car as well. I did want to have my Miata boosted by the end of the year. It's looking like because of this that's not going to happen, but that's okay. My plan now is I want to get the Mazda 3 in like a really nice daily state where I'm going to be happy with it, not want to do anything with it for a long time, so then I can focus my efforts on the Miata. So now let's go over and take a look at the list and see what we want to do with the car. So the obvious here is the 2.5 motor swap. Pretty much everything's gonna come out, stripped down and then moved over to the new motor. There are some things broken in here that I'm gonna have to do anyways, or I was gonna have to do anyways with the 2.3 that I still need to do with the 2.5. So along with that, I'm also gonna be taking care of the motor mounts in the car, the O2 sensor, and the thermostat. I also do have intake manifold issues. One of the valves just gets stuck open, but we have decided that it's not the source of the knocking, so it's more of just kind of a prevention thing to make sure nothing weird goes on with that anymore in the new motor. Now, there's no better time to do a clutch than when the motor's already off, so while I have it off, obviously I'm gonna do a new clutch, flywheel, all that stuff. I don't wanna have to be pulling anything again, so it's best to just get everything out of the way at once. And then once I have all the mechanical stuff sorted out, there's just some other stuff I've been wanting to do to the car anyways. I really wanna get a Mazda Speed 3 spoiler. Mine is like super faded, and I just think it would look better with, you know, a little bit of a bigger spoiler on there anyways. So I really like the way the Mazda Speed spoiler works. And then I also really like the facelifted Mazda 3 rear bumper. This black piece down here kind of goes like up above here instead, and it just looks a lot more aggressive. A little bit bigger exhaust cutout, so I might get a bigger tip and push it out a little bit more. Similarly, I also really like the facelifted front bumpers, but I know there's a lot more that goes into that. So I might get a bumper from a body kit or something like that. There's a couple I like. I don't want to do anything too ricey, obviously, but I do want to add some aggressiveness to the front end. Then I'm also going to do a simple lip, maybe like some very minor side skirts, stuff like that, just to kind of bring it all together and make it look like it's not just a normal Mazda 3. Then once I have all that done, I'm going to get it painted. It's going to be most likely the first color, or the first car painted in our ECG blue color, so it's going to be pretty cool. Later down the road, we'd like to have like a bunch of project and race cars and stuff in that color, so even though it's the daily, it's a color that we really like. We will further reveal that later, but it is going to be the first car painted in the ECG color. Alright guys, so for the most part, that just about covers my plans for the car as of now. As we get into it, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more stuff we're going to have to add. You know, I know it's not a very easy task. It's definitely a bigger project than anything we've done before, especially on the channel, so it's gonna be really cool. We're gonna try and document as much as we can. Just keep in mind, it's not gonna be any kind of like tutorial or how-to series, you know. We don't really know what we're doing in the first place, and trying to go back and talk over and explain what's going on while we're also trying to do it and film, it's a lot harder, and really I'd like to have this car back on the road as soon as possible. But it is gonna be a long process, you know. I don't even wanna guess a date, but you can expect to see a lot of videos on this, and maybe when I'm done, you know, I'm gonna be taking pictures of everything as I go, so maybe I'll be able to make a write-up for anyone else interested in the swap, because I know there's only a couple online. And it's funny, even just sitting in this car right now, like, I'm excited. I really miss this car. It was just a really fun daily driver, a decent amount of power for what the car is. Handles like a Miata almost. So it is really nice to be sitting in here again, even if the car is not running. Alright guys, so there you have it. Sorry, this video is probably a little bit different than our others, not too entertaining. Mostly I just wanted to introduce the project, kind of explain what's been going on. We've actually had a couple people ask, you know, why isn't the 3 in the videos, why aren't you driving it? And we kind of dropped a few hints here and there that it's dead. But really, it's a simple project, but it's not easy. It's gonna take a while, and I think it's definitely gonna be worth it to have one of the cooler normal Mazda 3s that's not a speed on the road. So we're really excited to get this project started. Hopefully you are too. And if you're new to the channel and interested in keeping up with this build, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you guys like the video, leave a like down below and comment. Always let us know what you think. If you've done this before or you know what's going on, give me any tips you have. It's a big project, we're gonna need some help. And then thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one.